A potential Dodgers free agent pitching target has signed with another team. What will the Dodgers do with their starting rotation after adding Yoshinobu Yamamoto and trading for Tyler Glasnow? Do they need to add another starting pitcher? And we got an update on Julio Urias' legal situation. That's coming up next here on Dodgers Dugout.
It's time for Dodger baseball.
Strike three. Dodgers have won it all in 2020. Mookie Betts cranks it left field.
They're going to make big signings. They're going to make impact trades. I don't care how many times this team rips my heart out. I'll never stop loving the Los Angeles Dodgers. Think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out. Pitching is like money. You can never have enough of it. And even though the Dodgers have gone out there and signed Yoshinobu Yamamoto, the top free agent starting pitcher available, to a 12-year, $325 million pact, and traded for an ace in Tyler Glasnow and signed him to a $136.5 million extension, you have Walker Buehler returning on a pitch count. Will he be back at the beginning of the season? That's in question at the moment. You also have a Bobby Miller who's an emerging ace. You have Emmett Sheehan and Landon Knack and Michael Grove and Gavin Stone. You definitely have some young up-and-coming talent. But in my opinion, this offseason isn't truly complete until you add another starting pitcher, possibly a veteran, to get some depth into this starting rotation. Because you have Glasnow, who his career-high innings pitch is 120, starts is 21. You got Walker Buehler on the pitch count. You got Yoshinobu Yamamoto adjusting to the show. Well, another potential free agent starting pitching target is off the market in free agent Japanese pitcher Shota Imanaga. Now, early on during free agency, you did see Imanaga linked to the Dodgers on a couple of different occasions. If you've been watching this show, you know I was never high on the idea of signing Imanaga, mainly because this is someone who profiles as maybe, if everything breaks right, a number 3. But more likely, he's going to be a number 4 or a number 5 for a starting rotation. This is someone who has a high strikeout rate, a lower walk rate at the NPB level, the second best baseball league on the planet. But if you look at his fly ball ratio, if you look at his fly ball rates, if you look at the fact that he allowed 17 home runs last season, that is absolutely cause for concern, especially when you're transitioning to Major League Baseball, where you're going to see more home runs, right? It's not as contact-oriented as the NPB. So definitely has talent. There's no doubt about that. But if you look at the contract he ultimately signed for, apparently it's a complicated deal that with escalators and player options, it could top out at around $80 million. But John Morosi of MLB.com, he reported that the deal is around $15 million annually on a multi-year deal where you have 2 years of guarantees in the $30 million range. And yes, you look at that 29.2% strikeout rate in the NPB. The big league average last year was 22.1%. There is a world where he strikes out a lot of hitters. The walk rate at 4%, that's very impressive. But you wonder how much his stuff is going to play up at the big league level. It's not like he has an explosive fastball or anything like that. I definitely think he can help teams. But for what the Dodgers were looking for in impact starters, they found that. You found that in Yamamoto. You found that in Glasnow. You still have Bobby Miller and Walker Buehler returning. You still have Emmett Sheehan, who has all the potential in the world as well. I think what the Dodgers need is an innings eater. And for someone that's transitioning from the NPB to the show, you really don't want to assign a depth piece for that, right? You don't know how they're going to handle it, if they're going to stay healthy, how they're going to adjust. The ball's a little different, mound's a little different, the schedule's a little different. So I think for what the Dodgers are looking for, there were some free agents available. I think Manaea made some sense. He ended up signing with the New York Mets. But I think at this point, you have to go explore a trade potentially for another starting pitcher to really give this rotation the depth that it needs. Now, you don't absolutely need it. It's icing on the cake at this point. But I'm talking about if we want to go A+++++, then you could use another starting pitcher. Dave Roberts was asked after the signing of Yamamoto in the trade for Glasnow if they were looking to add another starting pitcher. And his answer was, he told us that, look, they can never have enough starting pitching. And injuries are inevitable. We saw in the 2021 season how stacked that rotation was to start the year. You had Dustin May go down. You lose Trevor Bauer. You lose Clayton Kershaw. You traded for a Max Scherzer. So there's a lot of unforeseen circumstances. So you want to load up if you can. Now, there is going to be competition out there, and it's mainly probably going to be coming for the New York Yankees because there's been talk by Robert Murray, the MLB insider. He said on his podcast, Baseball Insiders, that the Yankees have shown some interest in Jesus Luzardo, possibly a Shane Bieber. He was speculating on that. Would they possibly trade for a Shane Bieber and look to extend him because he's under one more year of team control? I think Shane Bieber would be a great fit for this Dodgers team if you're looking to part ways with some of those top prospects and you include him in a deal that also includes an Emmanuel Clase if you're looking for a closer. And Murray also said the Dodgers could go out there and look for another closer. He actually said that he thinks that Kenley Jansen would make some sense as a fit. He talked about a Josh Hader as a possibility. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do from that standpoint. But right now, Shota Imanaga will not be a Dodger. He's going to be on the Chicago Cubs. That's where he has signed. And I think that the Dodgers did not miss out. For me, I was absolutely never on board with Imanaga, just looking in depth at his pitch profiles, and I just didn't think that he was what the Dodgers needed. The Dodgers, they're going for postseason wins, right? And if you're going to make a signing that could top out at $80 million with incentives, that is somebody looking to have an impact, right? A club like the Cubs, that makes sense for because you can't get the Yamamotos, right? The Dodgers, I think that for where they're at and when you consider the fact that you're getting Ohtani back next season, I like the fact that they didn't go out there and give multi-years to another starting pitcher. That's why Corbin Burns makes sense. That's why a pitcher like a Dylan Cease makes sense under 2 years of team control. So I definitely still think that the Dodgers are exploring the possibility of trading for another starting pitcher, and that's where they'll cash in on some of those top prospects that they could deal. Because, look, the reality is Michael Busch has to be burning a hole in their pocket because with the signing of Teoscar Hernandez and the trade for Manuel Margot, where do you play Michael Busch, especially when Dave Roberts went on MLB Network and told Alana Rizzo that Mookie Betts is going to be your everyday second baseman? Is he going to platoon as another lefty with Max Muncy at third base? That isn't happening, right? So I would not be surprised to see a trade at some point, whether it be before the season or during the season. I think more likely you would have to expect before the season, if you could pull it off, for another starting pitcher, potentially another bullpen piece. And I think that that really has to be the priority right now with the Dodgers. They've done everything so far, right? They checked off every single box. You had your Christmas list and you got everything under the tree, but there still is some work to be done because as great as the starting rotation looks like on paper, it's a 162-game season, and you definitely need a little bit more depth to assure that you're going to be able to fill all those innings and not have to burn Tyler Glasnow and Yoshinobu Yamamoto into the ground. You want to keep them healthy for when it matters most, the bright lights of the postseason. Now, yesterday we got another big update. It has to do with a former Dodger in Julio Urias and a very big development in his legal case. The Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office will not file felony charges against former Dodgers pitcher Julio Urias. Julio was arrested on September 3rd on suspicion of felony domestic violence after the Inter-Miami LAFC soccer match outside of BMO Stadium. There was tons of celebrities there to see Lionel Messi. It was a big scene in Los Angeles. And at the time, the report stated that Julio engaged in an argument whereby the defendant pushed the victim against a fence and pulled her by the hair or shoulders. But the court ruled that neither the victim's injuries nor the defendant's criminal history justify a felony filing. So that is where he stands as far as the courts go. Now, Major League Baseball is a totally different situation. Major League Baseball, they placed Julio on administrative leave on September 6th. The Dodgers, they distanced themselves quickly from him. They cleaned out his locker. They painted over the murals. he was donezo with the Dodgers, but it's going to be a case now where they determine his ultimate suspension under the league's joint domestic violence policy, and he would be the first second-time offender. He was suspended 20 games in 2019 after he was arrested and wasn't charged. So you saw back then he was arrested, wasn't charged, still faced a suspension. That will likely be the case here, and that is the expectation here, that he's still going to potentially face a lengthy suspension. The only question is, when will we get that ruling? Major League Baseball will conduct their own investigation, and they will rule on their suspension, and then his future will be a little more clear. We'll see. Will he get an opportunity in Major League Baseball? But as far as off the field, Julio not being charged for a felony in that matter. But that's going to do it for this episode of Dodgers Dugout. We are going to jump another episode, go a little more in depth on another starting pitcher for the Dodgers. We're going to throw out 5 trade candidates they could go for, so look out for that possibly later, for sure by tomorrow. Any updates on Julio Urias' legal situation, we'll keep you updated here as well. My name is Doug McCain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. Now, if you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe to the Dodgers Nation YouTube channel. We're the #1 Dodgers YouTube channel in the game, and we are doing a big giveaway at the moment. We are giving away a brand new number 17 Shohei Ohtani Dodgers jersey, the #1 selling jersey of all time as far as the first 48 hours. Now, how can you win that jersey? 1, subscribe to the channel, youtube.com/DodgersNationTV. Comment under this post "done" when you subscribe, or if you have already been, you're already eligible. So be sure to subscribe, post "done," and then watch. Definitely hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. But if you are subscribed, if you're a longtime subscriber, you'll still be eligible. If you're a new subscriber, you'll also be eligible. And get ready for a lot of giveaways this season. We got a lot of surprises coming your way. But remember, nothing brings us together quite like Dodger baseball. And until next time, think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.